Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to capture the KSR series in the Neuro DSP Quad Cortex. Let's get into it. Alright, so one thing, I'll start this off with a current critique of the Quad Cortex. Again, it's early. All of the great modelers and everything out there started off with some things that they needed to improve upon, which they eventually did. One thing with the Quad Cortex is that right now you can't bypass the power amp model of any of the models here. That's something that people like me who use these models into a power amp into a real cab tend to appreciate. But it's not necessary either. There are plenty of other modelers where you can't do that, but it still sounds fine running basically a power amp emulation, well, the full amp emulation into the sound of a power amp into a cab, and it sounds perfectly fine. Some people prefer to do it that way on their Helix, for instance. But in the Quad Cortex, it's currently not an option. So I figured, why not go ahead and capture some of these preamp pedals I have here for those folks that want to try that. And really, it's just one more tone that you'll have at your fingertips. So today we are going to just capture a couple of tones in this series. I'm going to do a full dedicated, free captures for the Quad Cortex video later. But today I just wanted to go ahead and capture the series and go back and forth and see how it sounds, to make a couple of quick captures. So let's go ahead and do that. So for those of you who don't know, you can at any point just go up here, tap New Neural Capture. It will guide you easily through, it guides you step by step through how to connect everything to get your capture going. But we already have that set up here. Then you get to this screen. Where, as you can see, you're hearing the sound of the device you're trying to capture. I like to use the auto set feature to kind of help set levels. So around there is going to be totally fine. Let's go ahead and start the capture. So now that's going, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here and just let that happen. The Quad Cortex capture definitely takes a good bit longer than the Kemper. It's probably about almost 3 times as long to make a capture. Somewhere between 3 and 5 times as long as the Kemper does to make a capture. So yeah, there's that. But again, so far, I've experienced more stability out of the Quad Cortex than I have with the Kemper, particularly when the Kemper is connected to Rig Manager. Sometimes I'll be making a capture and then I'll save it in Rig Manager and then it'll just end up deleted, and it's like, man, it just overwrites stuff that it really shouldn't be. So having that not be an issue so far on the Quad Cortex has been a big deal, and just having this interface is so much nicer than the Kemper in my opinion. So far, the tones have been, around the same to me. There's not a huge difference in terms of the Kemper's profiling ability and the Quad Cortex capturing ability. Both will get you very, very close to the original amp, in my opinion. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what the Quad Cortex does for this. Be right back. Alright, the capture's done, so let's go ahead and listen to both of them back to back. Here is the Ceres. Quad Cortex. as far as I can tell, that's very, very close. Down to the fact that there's some noise going on. Alright, so what are we going to do about that? Let's save this capture. Setting it something quick for right now. I don't think this one's going to go anywhere. Series 1 saved. Alright, so here we go. Now I've dropped that capture that we just made into a preset. And just to demonstrate this to you, the noise from the capture is still there, but it's easily resolved with the noise gate. And man, I think that sounds really, really freaking good. So actually what I want to do here is just try and quickly build a, well, I want to compare that capture with some of the amp models that I have in here. So again, I think some people, and I feel this way too, I want to be careful about doing things that could quote unquote show this new device in a quote unquote negative light. But that said, like, yeah, currently y'all are seeing me learn this device as we go. And right now I'm not blown away by any of the amp models in the Quad Cortex. I do think you can get them to sound good to great, but so far they just haven't really blown me away or anything, whereas the captures have. But that said, let me maybe demonstrate that to you, and maybe I can be wrong here. I would like to be wrong, but let's see how we can get. Let's pick an amp model and try and get it to sound not. I'm not going to match it to the Ceres, but I want it to sound of the same quality as the Ceres capture. I've said that the Friedman 100 lead so far has been my favorite model, but I don't want to just be using that model on this channel, so let's choose something else that should work. Something fairly simple. Let's go with the EVH 101, the 5153 red model. How about that? Too loud. All right, and there we go. So I think that I'm going to play a little bit more, but as far as dialing, I think that that's pretty much about where I would leave that model. Like, I mean, think about how you would dial in this 5150 model as you're sitting here listening to it, and just for the sound I'm going for, which is kind of a tight metal rhythm sound. What else on that amp model would you actually change to kind of like tighten up the amp a little bit? If you feel like I'm maybe doing something wrong, please let me know. But yeah, let's go ahead and just play and tweak a little bit more here. All right, so honestly speaking, I think that sounds really good. I'd still prefer the Ceres here, but again, those are two different models. I prefer the Ceres to a 5153 in general for the most part. Let's just for shits and gigs mess with a drive model here. See how they react, how both the amp model and the Ceres capture react to that. All right, and there we go. I'm not going to belabor the point here, but and I think about it, I did a video back in the day comparing the Ceres to both a bunch of the Axe FX models and a bunch of the Helix models, and the Ceres like blew them all out of the water. Nowadays, I know that if I go into the Axe FX and deep edit a couple of the well, most of the high gain models in there, I can definitely get a sound of the quality that I feel is very close to the KSR series. And in fact, I'm sure I can tone match it to something and have it sound really, really great. The Quad Cortex is not sitting here sounding terrible next to the Ceres, in my opinion, in the room. We'll see how it sounds on the through the mics and on the recording. But at the same time, I don't think that the amp models are at the same quality of sound as I can get out of captures here of the Ceres and of other amps. I think that as they continue to diversify what can be done with the amp models in terms of just how you can tweak them and stuff, I definitely think that the Quad Cortex is going to continue to grow into a better device. I'm excited to have it happen. But yeah, hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, y'all take care.